Okay guys, how's it going? So, I've just installed the O2 delete dongle thingy in my 2020 701, and already, just with a little tootle around, I can tell you it's an absolute must-have for this bike. Maybe a little bit different for the 2021 model, but I think that they changed it for that. But anything up to 2020, I think, yeah, absolutely must have. It's sort of roll on power. It's much smoother. See what this doggie's doing. Much smoother. I'm lugging it around in low revs everywhere at the moment because that was where the issue was. It never had an issue in high revs, but it definitely had an issue in low revs. It would basically, it was very snatchy, not smooth at all. And if you're trying to get up some like technical slow stuff, like a steep loose, rocky kind of climb or something like that, if you gave it the beans, the back wheel would skid. And if you tried to sort of like lug up it with the torque and low revs, it would stall. And that was my big issue. I had a couple of instances like that. Like here, I'll show you a quick clip. Ah. Ooh. Oh, for fuck's sake. That wasn't fun. So yeah, that kind of demonstrates the issue. And also just in traffic, just bumbling around. If you we're just trying to sort of keep a steady sort of speed and bumbling along in sort of fairly low revs, so you're not riding fast. It would be surging forward, then falling back, then surging forward and falling back, and it basically was not smooth in low revs at all. Like it wasn't desperately trying to stall the whole time, but you just couldn't have a nice smooth experience riding. But with this dongle, this is honestly an absolute no-brainer. It was about £20, £30 delivered, easy to fit. I'll show you quickly how to fit it in a minute. But yeah, if you've got one of these things, either the 690 or the 701, this kind of age, yeah, absolutely no-brainer. Do it. Apparently you may get an engine warning light. I haven't had any yet. And I'm not sure what happens when it comes to MOT time. I don't think they'll look into that. But either way, I've left my actual O2 sensor in place, but I've obviously just installed the dongle. The kit comes with a blank, which you can just pull the O2 sensor out altogether. But I wanted to make sure it was actually working correctly first. This light's taking the piss now. Anyway, I wanted to make sure it was working first before I actually remove the O2 sensor. And it's barely too much of a problem leaving it in anyway. It's not like you're saving weight or anything. But yeah, so I just I left the O2 sensor in place and just put the dongle in, because I just wanted to try to smooth out the bike a little bit. Okay, I'm starting to wonder whether these lights are broken. Anyway guys, yeah, absolutely must have. Like I said, it won't make a jot of difference to high speed revs or when you're riding hard, but when you're tootling along at low speeds, let's move a bit closer, see if this light's got a sensor. Oh, maybe it had. It was waiting for a car. But yeah, in high speed it won't make a jot of difference, but in low speed it seems to have a bit more torque low down, much less likely to stall, and it doesn't mind bumbling in low revs. So if you want to just tootle in low revs, as let's face it, most of us do most of the time, it's much happier to do that. And when then you roll the power on, so I'm bumbling along rail revs now. There's a tiny judder, but then it just comes on smoothly and immediately. So the sort of low rev judder thing isn't entirely gone, but it's really is 90% better than it was. So what are we in now? I think we're in like 5th gear. That's sort of borderline. But yeah, no, the bike is just generally smoother, and it's a nicer experience riding it with this dongle. So there you go, guys. That's my experience on that so far. Hope that was useful. But yeah, definitely, if you've got one of these bikes, delete your O2, because it's just doing some stupid emissions bullshit, not putting enough fuel in at low revs to keep the your efficiency up, which obviously it probably will impact your efficiency. I probably will be using more fuel now, but the difference is night and day. I'm wondering
Hmm.